Spanish health authorities saying now that they are monitoring 3 more potential cases of Ebola in Spain, a day after a nurse's assistant became the first person to contract the deadly virus outside Africa during this epidemic. Authorities say the nurse's assistant helped treat 2 Ebola-stricken priests after they returned to Spain from 2 countries at the center of the crisis. Both patients died. In fact, other doctors and nurses say the priests were almost dead upon arrival back in the country, which is in itself raising all kinds of questions about why the priests were moved in the first place. Spanish authorities have even announced that they will put down the infected woman's dog because some research shows there's a risk that dogs could transmit the virus to humans. CNN's Isa Soares is live for us in Madrid, Spain. Isa, what is the latest on this patient's condition?
Hi, Jake. Yes, what we know is that she's doing okay, given the severity, obviously, of Ebola. We know from doctors here that she's on an IV drip with antibodies from other Ebola survivors. We also know that she is receiving an antiviral drug that has been recommended by the World Health Organization. But today, Jake, it hasn't been so much about the nurse, this auxiliary nurse. It has, in fact, been about the protests here on the streets, perhaps the fact that this hospital behind me wasn't ready to receive or to deal with Ebola in the first place. We saw protests yesterday, we have seen protests today. We're expecting to see protests tomorrow. People from nurses to really trade unions. Unions have come out today telling CNN that this hospital didn't have the means, the capacities really to deal with this. And they basically told CNN that the equipment that they had really wasn't up to scratch and wasn't up to the standard of the World Health Organization. One trade union basically saying it didn't have clothing didn't have a level 4 biological security, and basically what it means is that it wasn't fully waterproof, it wasn't fully impermeable. Also said they didn't have an independent breathing apparatus. This has also come out in main newspapers here. El País, a very well-known newspaper here, where really health workers have been telling El País, instead of having a level 4 training equipment, rather, they have a level 2. So very, very poor, substandard. And in fact, they had latex gloves, and their gloves were bound with adhesive tape. So all this really puts into perspective why we've seen 3 more suspected cases of Ebola here. They're trying to figure out this hospital wasn't, in fact, ready. And nurses here telling CNN today, Jake, that back in July, they signed a letter and took it to court, basically saying, if anyone comes to Spain, if anyone is brought from West Africa, we will not have the means to deal with it. So the warning signs were there, Jake.